He that will not sail until all dangers are over must never put to sea. Eugene O'Neill. In our last episode, we were sailing out of the channel from St. Francois. The Christmas winds were still blowing a bit, and the storm had just recently passed. This made for an interesting start to our trip. The channel is only about 50 feet wide at spots, and you can see the waves crashing on the shallow reefs to either side. As I kept lookout from the mast, Lisa deftly steered us through the cut and out into the open water. Our first destination would be a short few-hour downwind sail to the little island of Gosier.
We are finally sailing a little bit away from St. Francois on the eastern side of Guadaloupe. We were there for a bit because we were waiting for the winds to die down. We had like 20 and 30 and sometimes gusting to 35 knots there in the anchorage, so it was a little windy. We didn't really care to sail in that, but now it has calmed down. We are looking at about 12 knots. That's true wind, so the apparent wind is a little bit less than that. And it's almost downwind, so that's nice. We got a nice calm sail. We got the waves behind us, got the wind behind us. And Lisa is up on the bow enjoying the sun.
It was a beautiful sail, but we had to make a small pit stop in the middle of the trip.
One of the hazards when you're sailing in the Caribbean Sea, is fishing pods. They are everywhere, and they're not always marked with buoys. It's sometimes just clear plastic Coke bottles. Well, today's the day. We caught one. So David's in the water trying to fish out the line and release us so we can continue to sail. Let's take a look and see how he's doing. How's it going down there? Did you get the line?
Yeah, I got it. It wasn't too bad. It was wrapped around the starboard prop. It didn't even have like a fish pod on it. It was just a string of 2 floaters.
So somebody else got the pod and we just got the line.
Apparently.
So were there 2 or just 1?
Well, it was 1 line with 2 floating containers on it.
Oh, okay. So we've been released?
Yeah.
Yay, we're free. We can sail again. What we did to prepare, let me get out of your way. What we did to prepare to stop, since we were completely under sail, we didn't have the engines on, is we were doing about 5 knots, cruising along with following seas. 5 knots, about 12 to 15 knots of wind, and we had our Genoa up and the main sail. What we did was we doused the Genoa, so the Genoa is furled back in. The main is basically hanging loose. That slowed us down to 0.3 knots. And David grabbed the swim trunks and the snorkeling gear to go take a look. You got anything to add to this?
No, it was pretty good. It was pretty easy. It must have been something that somebody already like tripped because there was no line attached to it, I guess. So it's just out there floating around.
So no cage, but line.
Right.
There was line attached to the bottles and no cage.
I should have pulled it up, but as soon as I released it, it just
took off
floated
on
away.
you. Yeah, the wave, we got some pretty good waves. I know the camera won't pick it up, but there's some good waves. I'm sure it just left your hands.
Yeah.
All right, back to sailing, guys.
Yay.
Let's get this bad boy up and running.
After clearing the fishing line, we made it to Gosier. We set our anchor and started getting the boat ready to explore. Sailing vessel Smitty glided into the anchorage as we were finishing up some of our chores.
Lisa, are you doing dishes?
This is what you do when your water maker dies. When it goes kaput, you do dishes in the ocean.
That's a cool little washcloth you have there.
Oh, this is my seaweed sponge, and it works excellent. Look, it's like a scraper.
Nice.
Seaweed sponge, on sale today. Get yours. Buy one, get one free.
When Unwritten Timeline was cleaned and anchored safely, we took the OCT tender to Gosier to walk around a little bit on the island.
This chicken's trying to figure out if I'm gonna feed it, or if you're gonna feed it. Who's feeding the chicken?
We explored the lighthouse and watched the waves roll in before heading back to the boat for a sundowner as a squall moved in just beyond the lighthouse. Before we left Gosier, we stopped by the street market that was located right next to the tender dock. We picked up a fresh pineapple, some limes, and coconut water made right in front of us. We weighed anchor and set off for a 7-hour sail to the western shores where we could see the underwater park near Pigeon Island. We rounded the southwest tip of Guadaloupe under a slight drizzle. The volcano we had hiked a few days earlier was sitting just below the clouds.
We just arrived near Pigeon, and check out this view. This is actually a little hot springs, so we're gonna go check that out sometime. But we're the only one on this end because Pigeon is a national park here around here, and a lot of the actual park is back up this way. So if you look, you can see a bunch of boats, and then Pigeon Island is right there, and that's actually where a lot of the good snorkeling is. It's about a mile away, so it's a little bit of a tender ride, but it's worth it, I think, to just be this far out. So we just got the anchor down. Lisa's finishing putting on some of the covers, and we're gonna get settled in for a while. We'll be here for a couple days, I think. We're still waiting on Jesse and Stacey from Sailing Vessel Smitty. They'll be coming this way soon. We'll see them when they come in.
The next day, we took the tender over to Pigeon Islands. These two islands are part of the Guadaloupe National Park. They are only accessible by the sea and are famous for elkhorn and staghorn corals. We saw tons of angelfish, parrotfish, and others while we were snorkeling in the crystal clear water. On our way back to Unwritten Timeline, we noticed the swell was really coming into our little bay. The waves had picked up all across the shoreline, but they were concentrated on our spot since we were tucked into a little cove. This is one of those times we were happy to have a strong chain, good anchor, and lots of room to swing 360 degrees. Our home was riding 6-foot breaking waves stern to the rocky beach 100 feet from our transom. We boarded Unwritten Timeline, fired up the engines, and headed into deeper water to reset our anchor. We stayed another night near Pigeon before heading north towards Gosier. We had just set our anchor when another Antares pulled into the bay behind us. It's not often we get to see another Antares in the wild since there are only a handful built each year. Sailing Vessel Pisces just happened to be in the area and hailed us on the VHF. The crews of Sailing Vessel Pisces and Unwritten Timeline took a tour of the botanical garden in Gosier. Lisa took a minute to feed the goldfish in the water lily pond just after the entrance. There is a nice restaurant, a waterfall, pink flamingos, palm groves, and an aviary with around 30 lorikeets that you can feed by hand. If you stop in Gosier, I highly suggest taking the time to check it out.
You feeding the birds?
Yes. He's drinking his little liquid thing. Little bit liquid tip. He's not going to share. He's like, this is mine. My lunch. He's not messing around, is he? Or she, I'm not sure. I don't know. The feet are actually really soft.
Yep.
They look like they'd be rough, but it's really soft. In general, he's not like dripping on. He's just kind of sitting there.
You helping him out?
Yeah. I'm tilting the cup. He's like, okay, there's a little more in there. Hi, buddy. It's all gone. Good job, buddy. Good job. Yeah. I know. I tried to tell him.
All right, everybody, we are in Gosier's marina. There are a limited number of moorings, and the depth is usually about 30 feet outside the moorings. So what you see here is you got the blue monohull racing to try to get a good spot, and behind him comes the white catamaran with the blue sailbags. Let's see who will get there first. Or red sailbags, sorry. The blue monohull and the red sailbag catamaran are jockeying for position right now. You can see the monohull has the lead at the moment, but the catamaran is coming on strong. And if we look out, even further out, there's another monohull coming up way behind. He is definitely not going to get a good spot as we come in here.
Not, because he is lollygagging.
And the blue monohull has slowed down. He's probably trying to be cautious when he comes in for his anchoring spot. But no, there goes the white catamaran with the red sailbag just blowing right in front of him.
And he's like, stand back, American. Stand back. Let me show you how it's done.
So let's see if one of them either hits each other or the rock face over there as they're coming into anchor.
Oh my goodness. Mad dash to get into the wind. Wow, that's crazy. I bet that blue boat is like, what the
Yeah.
fudge?
Yeah, because that guy was coming in here at like 7 knots.
Hot. He was coming in hot.
And we are back for the final moments of the race here. It appears that the blue monohull does have an anchor out. You can see him drifting sideways to the wind because steering is optional apparently in an anchorage. The catamaran was also sideways to the wind as well, but it looks like he may have caught and he is getting turned into the wind just a bit. There is somebody out on deck now putting out the anchor, so I'm sure that they will be settled here soon. And bringing up the rear is the white monohull coming in, just now taking down a sail. He apparently has no concerns about winning this race. Maybe he already has a mooring set up. Oh, there goes the catamaran again. You can see him moving forward, so apparently he either drug going at 7 knots backwards or he just decided to go reset somewhere a little bit more safe. As you can see, if he does decide to swing towards the shore, he will be very close over there. So let's see what they do. We'll be back in a few moments. All right, everybody, we are back in the final moments of the race. It appears the blue monohull does at least have an anchor set. He's just drifting around a little bit now, trying to find his place in the wind, but the white catamaran with the sailbags is still trying to re-anchor. I guess he was trying to sneak up there too close to the shore, couldn't get his anchor set, and decided he was a little bit too close for comfort. So he is moving off now. He is considered out of this race. The white monohull has just proceeded forward. He's going to find himself another spot, admitting his defeat in the race. So for today's anchoring races, it is the blue monohull for the win. Woo! Yay!
If you enjoyed this episode, hit that like button. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Next time we visit a new country and see another volcano. We'll see you guys next time.